Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this blog, I am taking you on a journey through one of the most vibrant, spiritual, and culturally rich cities in South Asia, Kathmandu, Nepal. From ancient palaces to bustling local markets, delicious Nepali food to peaceful temples, this trip was a complete experience. Make sure to like, subscribe, and watch till the end. You won't want to miss the Pashupatinath temple visit. As soon as I landed in Kathmandu, the cool mountain breeze and the surrounding hills made the atmosphere feel calm and refreshing. The city instantly gave off a mix of old world charm and vibrant street life. After a quick check in at the hotel, I headed straight out to explore, and my first stop was the iconic Kathmandu Darbar Square. Darbar Square is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and trust me, it feels like walking through a living museum. The royal palace, intricately carved wooden windows, statues, and the ancient darwazas or gates each tell a story. I was completely mesmerized by the old world architecture and how it reflects the deep history and craftsmanship of Nepal. Later, I visited Shambhunath, also known as Monkey Temple. Situated at a top hill, the panoramic view of Kathmandu from here was absolutely breathtaking, a perfect mix of spirituality and scenic beauty. Next up, I made my way to Thamel Market, the heart of local life in Kathmandu. The streets were buzzing with energy, colorful shops, street musicians, and travelers from around the world. You will find everything here, from handmade and prayers flag to pashima shawls and trekking gear. If you love shopping and culture, this place is a paradise. And yes, bargaining is very much a thing here. After all that walking and exploring, it was time to eat, and Nepalese food did not disappoint. I started with all time favorite momos, soft, juicy, and packed with flavor. Then came thukpa, a hearty noodle soup perfect for the cool weather. And finally, I tried the traditional Nepali thali with dal, bhat, tarkari, achar, and local dish called gundruk. Everything was served with warmth, and the taste just divine. The next morning started on a spiritual note with a visit to Pashupatinath temple, one of the most sacred temples for Hindus. The temple sits on the banks of Bagmati river, and the atmosphere here is serene and powerful. Although non-Hindus are not allowed inside the main sanctum, just being in the complex, witnessing the rituals and the devotion gave me goosebumps. It was a deeply spiritual experience, peaceful, grounding, and unforgettable. The main Shiva Lingam here is Swambhu, meaning it appeared on its own, and just across the river is Gueshwari temple, a Shakti Peeth where Sati Devi body part is believed to have fallen. The evening aarti is something you should never miss. As the bell rings, priests chant, and flames dance on the river, it's like time stands still. I'll insert a few seconds of it here. This is one of the holiest shrines dedicated to Lord Shiva, not just in Nepal but in the entire Hindu world. The name Pashupati means Lord of the Beings, the protector of all living things. This temple complex is over 1400 years old, but some legends say it dates even further back to when the Shiva Lingam emerged from the earth itself. According to local legend, Lord Shiva once came here in disguise. Tired of the material world, he took the form of deer and wandered into a lush forest of the Bagmati region. When the gods discovered him, they tried to bring him back, but Shiva refused. In the struggle, his ankle broke, and later it was found at his very side. The temple was then built in his honor. Architecture wise, the main temple is built in pagoda style with the golden roofs and beautifully carved wooden rafters. Only Hindus are allowed into the sanctum, where the five faced Shiva Lingam resides, each face representing a different aspect of Lord Shiva. Outside the sanctum, the temple complex is massive, over 260 hectares, filled with ashram ghats and small shrines. The temple sits on the banks of the Bagmati river, which is considered as a sacred to Nepalis as the Ganga is to the Indians. And yes, the cremation ghat here are a deeply spiritual experience. Some people may find it overwhelming to see open cremations, but here death is seen as a transition, not an end. Families offer prayers as their loved ones are sent off into their next life, right next to the temple in Lord Shiva presence. Just when I thought Darbar Square could not surprise me more, the street burst into celebration. Yes, Kathmandu is not just about quiet temples and old bricks, it's alive. And nowhere is that more visible than in Darbar Square during a local festivity. I was lucky I walked right into a street performance celebrating a Newari festival. The energy was contagious, local dressed in a traditional Newar attire, their clothes vibrant with reds, blacks, and golden threads. Women carried plates of flowers and rice, children danced barefoot, and the rhythm of muddle drums echoed between the palace walls. There was Dohori singing, a kind of musical debate where men and women sing back and forth with witty poetic replies, and then the dancing began. They call it the Lakhe dance, one of the most iconic traditional dances of Kathmandu. A masked dancer with wild red hair and bulging eyes stormed into the square. The Lakhe is believed to be a demon who was tamed and now protects the city. He danced fiercely, jumping and spinning, and the crowd cheered like he was a superhero. Children screamed in delight, tourists pulled out their phones, and local they just smiled. For them, it was just not a show, this was a faith in motion, culture, and rhythm. As the drumming faded and the crowd thinned, I sat down near a stone step just watching. Children still played, a grandpa fed pigeons, and the temple bells continued ringing. In that moment, I realized in Kathmandu the streets are not just pathways, they are theaters of devotion, playground of heritage, and living timelines of stories passed down through generations. Kathmandu has over 2000 temples, large and small, more than any other city in the world for its size. It's said that at one time there were so many temples as there were houses and as many gods as there were people in this valley. Every temple has its own energy, its own rhythm. Some are crowded with devotees, while others are so quiet. Even the pigeon seems to pray. Whether it's a simple stone lingam on the roadside or a massive stupa surrounded by monks, these temples are not just religious sites, they are piece of Kathmandu soul. If you really want to feel Kathmandu, don't go to the malls. Go to the street because that's where the real Kathmandu breathes, in its bustling street market. From the moment I stepped into the narrow alleys of Asan Bazaar and Thamel, it was sensory overload in the best possible way. People were so friendly, one shopkeeper even taught me how to tell real pashmina from fake one. And bargaining here is just not rude, it's a part of the experience. Smile, ask politely, and you might just get a better deal and a cup of chai. My trip to Kathmandu was everything. I hoped for rich history, spiritual depth, amazing food, and the kindest people. If you are planning a gateway that blends culture, relaxation, and adventure, Kathmandu should be on your list. Let me know in the comments what part of the video you liked most. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support really means a lot and helps me bring more travel stories.